Sweet the whispers in your ear whenever ember wanders near.
Okay, let's make that nice and sparkly clear. The Stop Nick Shirley Act is a direct violation of the Constitution of the United States. It is a direct violation of the First Amendment of the Constitution. And the second it gets signed into law, I know it passed the House. I'm not sure if it's gone through the Senate, the California Senate yet. The moment it hits the governor's desk and gets signed, I have no doubt that there are legal briefs ready to be fired off to the courts the moment it does get signed into law. Like injunctions and legal briefs ready to go by God knows how many attorneys. That's the one solace I take from it, is that whenever this happens, there are people ready to challenge it en masse. But let's see if there's like a new development that I'm unaware of. We'll take out Wordsmith. Personally, I love Warren Smith. He's very, he's a soft-spoken guy. He is like the epitome of an intellectual, and I fucking love him. He looks at things logically. He looks at arguments and counter-arguments and shows where the failure is, shows how when someone's trying to present their point, how they fail spectacularly, and basically just prove that they're just working off of fifis. They're working off of an ideology with no substantive facts to back it up. He's great. I freaking love him. So let's see what happened. See if there's something new with Nick Shirley that I saw come in.
What happens when Nick Shirley goes to California to confront the politicians who authored the Stop Nick Shirley Act face to face? I want to take a look at their body language and the strategies they're employing.
We just want to ask you about the bill and why you guys would pass this bill that really is an attack on free speech.
I'm sorry, right off the jump, can I just look at this guy. Look at her little assistant. Just look at this guy. Shoulders slumped, head down, like hands tight to his sides. He is 100% cocked. Like holding her, carrying her purse, carrying her bag. He looks like a complete fucking cuck. And looks incredibly uncomfortable as well.
It's an attack on free speech.
I am not even sure what you're talking about.
Really?
You said an author. I don't think
yes.
I'm an
Did you
author.
Did you sign to pass this bill? The AB 26?
No, I don't
24?
know what you're talking about.
These are just some of the fakest people you will ever find. Some play more dumb than others. Some pretend that they have no idea what he's talking about. Others employ a different strategy. They try and pretend that they're confused.
Wait, can you say that to me again?
Yeah, so AB 2624,
okay.
If a journalist were to go and investigate fraud in an immigrant service company, essentially, from the government that receives taxpayer dollars, they could potentially risk receiving a $10,000 fine with this bill you guys are trying to pass.
Well, I need to read the bill.
But you signed off on
And we heard this the whole time. Every single person he talks to in his interview has signed our co-authors of the bill. And every single one of them go, I need to read the bill. I don't know what's in the bill. And they're all co-authors. This response of, what can you tell me about this bill? Oh, I don't know. I have to read the bill. Should immediately be ejected from his seat. Immediately. If someone asks you what's in this bill and your response is, well, I need to read the bill, then you're not doing your job. You should be immediately ejected from your seat of power. Instantaneously. Like the minute this goes live, the minute that this gets broadcast, federal authorities should come in and go, okay, sir, you need to leave. Bye. You're no longer representative. You're no longer a state representative of the state of California. You have now lost your job. Go put the fries in the bag. Every fucking one of them that says, I don't know, I need to read the bill, and they are listed as co-authors of the bill. Fuckity bye. You're no longer a politician. Go put the fries in the bag. Every single one of them, without exception.
the bill. You passed the bill.
What do you mean I passed the bill? I don't know.
It's gone through two.
Another strategy they use, they'll get hyper-specific. Technically, that's not the correct language. I didn't pass the bill. I was just signed off on it. So you're confusing me, Nick. I don't understand. It's just a strategy.
It's gone through 2 times, and it's been passed.
What 2 times? Where are you referring to? Are you referring to committees?
Yes.
Which committees?
Why do I need to know the name of the committees in order for you to engage the question? Did you sign off on this bill or not?
I can tell you right here if you give me a second. But
Speaking of committee, I'm in the privacy committee right now, but I don't think that bill is passed before my committee.
Bye. Fuckity bye. Go put the fries in the bag. It literally passed through his committee, and he said, oh, it's never passed to my committee. So you lied. So you lied. Cool. You're no longer a representative. Go put the fries in the bag. Should be immediately ejected from government. If you're going to openly lie like that, to basically try and make an attack against the First Amendment, you're out. Get him out. Put him in the box. Go put him in the fucking box.
he's a co-author of it.
And then when all else fails and they get close to the door, they just bolt and run.
Speaker Rivas, how are you doing? What do you think about the Stop Nick Shirley Act, AB 2624?
I don't know anything about it.
And do you think there's any conflict of interest there with Mia Bonta and her husband being the AG? That just shows you everything you need to know. These people won't even answer the questions.
Yes, they're roaching. Every one of them is roaching out. Every one of them, when they are confronted by the very person that the bill is nicknamed after, the very reason why they're putting this bill into place, and that very person shows up and says, care to explain yourself why you're attacking the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, every single one of them roach out. Like, this is disgusting behavior. They should all be removed. Every single one of them needs to be removed from office.
So you signed off, you're a co-author of the AB 2624 bill. What made you want to sign off on this bill that would literally make it so NGOs don't have to disclose their money?
Yeah, we'd have to go back and look at the materials from that committee hearing.
And this is the strategy you're going to see over and over again.
Over and over.
Every time
I gotta
you
read
approach
it.
someone, you're going to see some form of this. Oh, I have no idea. What bill? What are you talking about?
Restate the question?
Yeah, so
State the question. He asked it. He started off listing the bill that he co-authored. Why should he have to restate the question? Was to dip, duck, dodge, and diving and dodging. Like all of this, every single one of them, and and I'd be surprised if Warren doesn't mention this. This is a stall tactic. I'm pretty sure I said this the first time you saw it. This is a stall tactic that they're using. They say, can you say that again? Oh, I don't think that passed. Wait, what are you talking about? Because they're just trying to bridge that gap from when they left the State House to when they can go into their offices where Nick cannot follow them. And they're just stall, and so they can roach out and go hide.
entities that receive money from the government, shouldn't there be more transparency and not less?
I think we want to make sure that we are being accountable to public funds.
And Nick points out, okay, but this does the opposite of that.
Yes, and so you sign off on a bill that would make that harder to have transparency.
Well, I don't think I see it that way. I think that we're making sure that, all of our systems are able to get the money out to community and that there's transparency and accountability incorporated.
No, there's
All
not.
he said right there is, well, I disagree. I don't see it that way.
But you're literally signing off on a bill that would make it for less transparency, sir.
That's debatable, and I don't
It's
agree.
not debatable.
And then he repeats the same strategy. Well, I disagree. It's debatable.
They're going for immigration-based services. They're trying to make it harder for money to be disclosed.
Thanks.
It's just the word salad strategy.
You know who I am. My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
Stall,
You signed off on the
stall.
AB 2624 Act.
And by the way, I don't know if Warren's going to show it. Remember, there were a couple of Republicans that make this walk that spoke verbosely with Nick. Like they actually they spilled the beans on everything. They said, yeah, this is actually going to make it harder. It's a horrible bill. It should never exist. You see the difference with the roach out Democrats who do nothing but hide and obfuscate and don't answer questions and just go round in circles while they stall so they can basically go into their little roach motel versus Republicans who I have no problem talking to Nick.
Can you tell us about what you did on that?
I don't even know who you are.
Well, my name's Nick Shirley.
Some of these politicians are just so frustrating to listen to because they're so condescending.
AB 2624. You don't know much
She
about
signed
it?
off on it.
Or-
don't know if I know that.
Oh, well, can I tell you a little bit about it?
I'm okay.
So, you should know.
thank
You should know about it though, because it's kind of your job.
It's just this passive aggressive, nice person
Thank you, Molten.
facade. I'm okay, thank you though. In this condescending voice, it's just, ugh.
So the Stop Nick Shirley Act, what it does is it shields immigrant. Oh, tell us about it.
Run it. Yeah. She was like, oh, I don't really want to talk about it. He's like, cool, I'm still talking about it. So what you do, turns around and roaches out. Every one of them are fucking cockroaches. Every one of them. Just scurrying little bugs trying to get into their roach motel.
There's no Stop Nick Shirley Act, but the author's not here today, but I hope you can find her.
But you're the co-author of this.
I'm a co-author of many, many bills that protect vulnerable communities in California.
The fucking party line. The fucking party line. I'm the co-author of many bills that protect our minority communities. Look, so basically, this person just admitted that they literally, like, they'll auto-pen whatever comes across their desk. That should be illegal. That should be flat out illegal. That if you, as a government representative, do not know what the fuck you're signing, or if you're going to purport that you don't even know what you're signing off on a bill that you're that you claim that on paper is claiming to you are co-authoring, you should be stripped of your government duties and you should be put in jail. Every single one that says I don't know what this is and they're a co-author, they should be immediately put in a box. Every fucking one of them. It should be considered illegal. Because by their logic, they could sign a bill that says, I want to execute all people that wear bows in their hair. Just to basically just throw something insane out there. By their logic, they could potentially be signing off on a bill that's saying anyone that wears a pretty ribbon in their hair should be executed. And then that bill gets signed into law, and from that point forward, any person that wears a pretty ribbon in their hair will get executed. Like, this is the logic that we're talking about here. With, I have no idea what I signed, when they've actually signed something. I don't know what you're talking about, when they are the co-author of the bill. If they purport that they do not know about a bill that they are co-authored on and signed on and has gone through their committee, they should immediately be arrested and put in the box. Immediately. And never hold a government job again for the rest of their natural life. Like, this needs to be a fucking law that, government's is supposed, it's supposed to be transparent. That's why the First Amendment exists. That's why the press exists, is for transparency, so that people can be informed. And if they're going to pretend like, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about, I never signed off on that, they're going to fucking lie, put them in the box. It needs to be illegal. It should be a felony for them to say, I don't know what you're talking about on a bill that they've signed off on. Should be illegal.
It sounds good.
So your bill criminalizes publication of images recorded in public. Do you believe the government has the right to punish journalists for filming in public space?
No, I think that is a complete misinterpretation of actually the...
No, because
He literally just read it, like almost verbatim, what the bill does. What he just said, I'm going to back this up. What he says here is like...
Sounds good.
Just watch.
So your bill criminalizes publication of images recorded in public. Do you believe the government has the right to punish journalists for filming in public space?
No, I think that is a complete misinterpretation of actually the...
No, because
piece of legislation.
She just says she disagrees, that no, there's no problem here. But when Nick challenges her for specifics, she can't respond.
That is not. That's literally what would happen.
Now, the people on the other side of the aisle do recognize him, are willing to talk to him. So we know this is actually occurring.
Oh,
How are you doing?
I just want to say hi. So, great work. Very proud of what you're doing.
And how come you think that they're just sign off on a bill that would make it harder for organizations that receive taxpayer dollars to be...
I don't agree with it. I think you're on the right track. This is an attack. It should not be. It's not right. You're doing well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They acknowledge, hey, it takes you, a guy with a camera, to be able to expose this kind of thing. It must be infuriating.
And they're acting like they don't have any idea what it is, when it really is a direct violation of the First Amendment.
Most of them don't read the bills, but they know what it is. The people that you talk to that co-authored the bill, they know what it is.
We have raw...
And here's the biggest fucking difference. Okay, I'm going to say look at the difference between Democrats and Republicans. The Democrats are every fucking one of them roach the fuck out. They cannot stand on they cannot like stand by their illegal, unconstitutional bill. So they roach out, they run away, and they obfuscate, and they go around in circles until they can get into their roach motel. The Republicans, what is she doing? Is she walking? No, she's standing here. She's standing here talking to him. Therein lies the difference. The people that want to strip away your rights will run and hide so they don't have to answer questions about why are you stripping away our constitutional rights, and they're going to go run and hide. The ones that don't want your constitutional rights stripped away from you, they're going to sit there and they're going to talk to you all fucking day.
The people that you talk to that co-authored the bill, they know what it is.
We have Ross Gibbons, one of the foremost experts, to discuss the ability of these politicians to get away with this game. He has a lot of experience with how this game actually operates.
Oh, here we go.
So he is a 20-year veteran of the stock market, a former vice president at JP Morgan Chase. He's one of the leading authorities on insider trading. He's agreed to hold a live training event on Thursday, June 18th at 3 p.m. Eastern time, completely free, where you guys can learn the secrets of piggybacking these completely legal insider trades. I have the link in the description. You can click that and sign up. You're not going to want to miss it. It's completely free just for my audience. So the link is warrensinsiders.com. When you look at the Nick Shirley story, what's your take on it? What do you think is going on?
Well, first, I think Nick Shirley is a hero, right? And the fact that there are members of Congress who don't want the corruption exposed, who don't want you to see where your tax dollars are going, is crazy. But it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. I've been following Congress's stock trades for a decade. We've been following insider trades as a service for our members since 2017. We have outperformed the stock market every single year during that time. And it's blatantly obvious. I mean, you know, you've got members of Congress buying defense company stocks right before we go to war. Pelosi passed the CHIPS Act that gave billions of dollars to the semiconductor companies like Intel and NVIDIA and all. And the week before she passed that bill, she bought $1 million worth of leverage call options on NVIDIA.
I mean, the meme exists for a fucking reason. The meme about you want to get rich, just basically mimic Nancy Pelosi stock trades, that exists for a fucking reason. These things don't just appear in a vacuum without a basis of fact behind them.
$1 million to $4 million. I mean, there's a track record of this stuff. I can show you dozens and dozens of examples, and nothing ever happens. No one gets in trouble, not even a slap on the wrist. They've conveniently structured a system, as they have with other things, where they can take advantage and profit of that. So there is something called the Stock Act that was passed back in 2011 or 12 that was supposed to stop insider trading. But like a lot of the garbage they pass, it's just a smokescreen. It didn't ban them from insider trading.
Yeah.
It just put in a requirement they had to.
Oh, I'm very aware. I know that when it comes to self-enrichment via the stock market, I'm very aware it's literally every single member of the government. I'm not so blind to think, oh, this is only one party that does this. No, it's fucking everybody. I'm very well aware of this. It's why I think that my government representatives, like especially in the House and Senate and the presidency, I don't think it's still a law. I think this is more of a memory serves. I could be wrong about this. Bearing in mind, I'm not a political expert. And to my understanding is if you are an elected government official in either in the presidency, either in the executive or the legislative branch, to my understanding is you should divest yourself of any personal businesses. Any of your businesses should be put into a blind trust, and you are not. And for the lifetime of your service to the government, you are not supposed to have access to them whatsoever. This way, it gets put in a blind trust. Now, I believe that's a guideline. I do not believe it is a law. I could be mistaken about that, though. So don't quote me. I could be mistaken. Again, I'm not an expert on this, but I believe that's how it facilitates. By the way, for Bose, thank you for the tier 2 and the 5 gifteds. Thank you very much. But I do think it does need to be written into law. I fully believe that it needs to be, and granted, I'm not so stupid that I think this is ever going to happen. Okay, bear in mind, this is me just basically fully acknowledging this is hopes and dreams. But if every single member of the executive and the legislative branch, it should be illegal for them to do anything in the financial markets. It should be illegal for them to do the stocks. It should be illegal for them to do bonds. It should be illegal for them to do anything outside of the, anything in the financial industry to enrich themselves whatsoever. If they, if they have existing stocks or anything, then either they sell them off or they immediately put them in a blind trust. They are not allowed to look at them for the lifetime of their service. And they are not allowed to acquire new financial means. Their focus should be entirely upon, doing their job with the government. Yeah, their family too. That's why I said it needs to all be put in a blind trust. I think that needs to be written into law, and if they violate it, they go to federal prison. It's they consider it a felony. That they basically no government official in either the executive or the legislative branch should be able to receive any kind of gift, physical or monetary whatsoever. And if you receive a gift, physical or monetary, in any way, shape, or form, you go to prison. I think that needs to be written into fucking law. That when you are a member of the executive or legislative branches and your family members, you are focused on that. You are if you receive any outside influence in anything that could be considered a gift or something that can benefit you financially, and you accept it, you go to prison. And yes, I know there's the overt, bribery thing is, what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about like with the stock markets. I'm talking about like kickbacks from companies. If you vote the right way, so it benefits a company, you end up getting a kickback. Like that's more what I'm talking. That's what I'm referring to. It is like if there's any evidence to substantiate that they're doing this with like the inside stock trading, or if they're getting kickbacks or anything like that, or if they've got something set up so that when they do finally leave service, they're getting some kind of kickback from these companies, then they should go to prison. Every fucking one of them.
Report those trades publicly. So that's kind of the silver lining, as you mentioned. We can.
Hang on. Does all this political shit stress you out and remind you that we have a community that whenever there is a disagreement, we talk it out, you're like normal human beings? Not in that respect, because it's a little bit potato. When we have a disagreement, when we have a disagreement stream either with one another or you guys have a disagreement with me, and we talk it out. We basically go, we'll go through it as best as I can, given it's a live stream and I only have so much time. But we'll basically like go through it. We'll do some back and forth on it, have a discussion about it instead of yelling at each other or anything like that. There's a difference. That is a big difference between us doing that versus basically politicians being corrupt and stealing money from the American people to enrich themselves, or politicians facilitating policy that is designed specifically to be corrupt and steal from the citizenry while also simultaneously enriching themselves. It's completely different. It's a completely different situation in that respect.
See these trades. And I don't think a lot of people realize that when a member of Congress buys a stock, there is a record of that, and we can spot it and follow along. And it's the same with corporate insiders as well. So you're talking about a group of people who have not only contacts with the top executives and the top people at the biggest companies in the country, but they're passing legislation that has direct shit, that's terrible. I'll try again. But they're passing legislation that has direct ramifications on these companies. What they sign is going to push certain stocks and sectors higher. If they find a company guilty of monopoly,
exactly, direct market manipulation.
If they approve a merger, it's going to surge. If they give billions of dollars to some space stock or some small defense.
Someone once said the politicians should be paid the minimum wage of the states they represent. What say you? Not minimum wage. Okay. Bearing in mind, when I answer this question, I'm looking at the representatives in the light of that they are actually trying to do what's right. I'm not looking at them that they are corrupt as they are today. I'm taking the viewpoint of these elected representatives are actually good people and are actually trying to do the job that they have been elected for. Bearing in mind, that is the basis of my answer here. Not that, not with the corrupt shitstorm that we've currently got working through DC. My feeling is with elected officials, state representatives and senators, should they be paid minimum wage? No, I don't think they should be paid as low as minimum wage, because you pay for the work that you're doing. No matter what you think about DC right now, no matter what you think about the government right now, these people are not doing the work of a minimum wage employee. They're not. Okay? No matter how you think of it, no matter how much you hate them, they are not doing the job of the guy putting the fries in the bag. They are doing a very serious job. And so in that respect, I do think they should be paid for the value of their work. So, like, again, it would be dependent upon the state. But I saw somebody said like they should get paid like a doctor's wage. That could be fair. That could be a fair assessment. I think that could be reasonable. I would say it would not be outside the realm for a typical representative in the legislative branch to basically have a payroll to have an annual pay of like $100,000 to $150,000. I think that is perfectly fair for them to receive a $100,000 to $150,000 per year salary for doing their job. And again, this is going on the assumption that the representatives and senators in question are not corrupt and are actually trying to do work to benefit their state and their country, to do right by the people. Okay, bearing that in mind, that is a very, very salient counsel. But yeah, $100,000 to $150,000, of course, flexibility there given states. I would not be opposed to that level of pay because they are doing substantial work for the country. They are. So when they're doing substantial work for the country, I do think that they should receive a reasonable pay for doing that, so long as they are actually doing their job. That part should go without saying, but obviously it needs to be said. They need to actually be doing their job to earn that pay. If they don't do their job, then, well, number one, they shouldn't have that job. That's number one. Number two, cut their pay. All of these government shutdowns that we've seen happening, immediate cut off their pay. Immediately. Like every single member of the legislative branch, if there's a shutdown, yeah, a hefty fine, $50,000 fine for every vote that they miss. If there's a government shutdown because they can't agree, their pay goes away. The pay of the military stays. Because it's not the fault of the military, it's not the fault of the postal workers, it's not the fault of the IRS, it's not the fault of the government workers outside of Congress that the Congress can't get their heads out of their ass to come to a consensus or come to a decision when it comes to the budget that causes the shutdown. So I think it needs to be signed into law that if there is a government shutdown because Congress is too busy having a pissing contest to actually do their job, then every single one of them loses their pay. And every day that there's a government shutdown, they get fined $25,000 to $50,000. Every vote that they miss, fine $50,000. You actually start hitting these people in the fucking wallet, they'll actually start doing their job. Shocking, I know, but that's the only thing that's going to sit up and make them pay attention. Censure, not going to do a fucking thing. We're seeing multiple congressmen we're seeing several Congress people right now that are basically on the hook now for fraud. What do you think's going to come of that? Absolutely fucking nothing. There's at least one woman who is on the hook right now for some kind of thing with fraud. You think anything's going to happen? Fuck no. She's going to get like a censure, or she's going to get a finger wag at her, like, oh, you shouldn't have done that, and then that's it. Nothing's going to happen. There needs to be a law in place. Every vote that a congressperson misses, $50,000 fine. If there's a government shutdown, you lose all your pay immediately gets frozen, and every day that the government shutdown exists, you are fined $25,000, $50,000. Every government worker, they keep getting paid. Congress, you don't. And you get fined for every day that the government shut down. That's the way it should be. Because it's not any of the government workers' faults that you guys can't figure shit out because you're too busy sniping at each other and seeing who can piss the furthest and having a dick wagging contest or dick measuring contest to see, oh yeah, I got the biggest balls of them all. That's not the fault of the military. That's not the fault of the postal workers. That's not the fault of the IRS workers. That's not the fault of the airline workers. That's not their fault that you are too fucking stupid to just do the most basic fucking thing here. So yeah, Congress should be punished for this shit, not the public. And while it's never going to happen because Congress is a corrupt organization all on its own, it needs to be signed in. This kind of thing needs to be signed into law. If Congress can't do its job, they need to be punished every single time.
Contractor, the stock is going to surge. And so what they do is take the information they learn and have access to in Congress, use it to their own benefit by buying the stock before this information is public. And then when it comes out, the stock rises, they make a fortune. And, you know, Pelosi's the one that really made everyone realize what's going on, but they all do it.
Yeah, they all do it. Absolutely.
Two questions.
Yeah, and look, I'll be fair because I hate nothing more than people that only see wrongdoing on the other team and not theirs. We see Democrats and Republicans. In fact, let me show you this.
Every fucking one of them.
Republicans, on average, 35%. Democrats, just about 32%. So big, big, big numbers. And some of these guys slaughter the market. I'll show you this.
Yep.
These are the top returns of members of Congress in 2024.
Wow.
These are the top returns in 2025. This is not individual stock picks. It's not, you know, just someone got lucky once. It's a strategy run by a company called Quiver Quant, and it just tracks congressional trades. So every time a member of Congress buys a stock, they add it. When
Look
they
at that.
They sell it.
So all the members of Congress are making a fucking killing by screwing over the American public by not doing their jobs. Fucking fire every one of them. Every one of them, fuckity bite. Put them in the box.
This is what the Congress buy strategy has done versus the index since COVID. They're not beating the market by 10 or 15%.
If you follow them, you can get rich too. It's a pretty thought, but no. Because if you follow them to get rich, you have to remember, they're trading in volume. They're trading in volume that the average person is not capable of doing. That's part of the reason why they're getting so rich, is because they are able to invest heavily in high volume in these trades. You, as the average citizen, can basically invest a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what they can. So no, you're not going to get rich that way, unfortunately. I understand the logic behind it. Fiscally, it's not possible because of that reason.
They're doubling, tripling, quadrupling the returns. And look, how many hedge fund managers have ever been elected to Congress? Either we are electing the best stock pickers in the country to Congress, or they're cheating. There's just no other way to look at it, and the evidence is overwhelming. They're just not going to stop. I mean, Pelosi proved it. Everyone knows she did that. The President of the United States, the richest man in the world, half of Congress. It's a running joke that Nancy Pelosi is a massive insider trader. I've got folders full of evidence. Nothing ever happened to her. A handful of them that really do want to ban it, but the majority absolutely do not. But they go on TV, say, we shouldn't be insider trading. And they go, oh, crap, we're not actually going to ban it, are we? And they attach it to some bill that, is never going to get a vote.
And that's something that also be illegal. That should also be illegal. It should be like when it comes to doing bills in Congress, it should be illegal to try to insert anything into a bill that doesn't have anything to do with the bill. Pork should be illegal in terms of legislation. If Congress is going to sign off on a bill, the only thing that should be in that bill is about that subject matter specifically. Any congressperson that tries to basically stick some kind of pork in there that has nothing to do with it, like, oh, we need, you're doing a crime bill and you try and stick in some pork about we need to study the utter length of the Alabama cow, well, then that congressperson should immediately be put in the box and arrested. It should be illegal. It should absolutely be illegal. Because this is why why the majority of bills get, you know how you hear about all of these bills that basically don't pass? And you see shit like the most recent, the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act just that did not get passed. And they basically said, okay, there are these 4 Republicans that didn't sign off on the bill. Yeah, the SAVE Act. And it didn't pass, and there's like 4 Republicans that didn't sign off on the bill. Here's a question I have. What other shit got crammed into that bill? What else other than the fact that, other than the SAVE Act, the core of the SAVE Act, which is if you want to be able to vote in the United States, you need to present government identification to prove that you're a citizen of the United States. That was the SAVE Act. So what other shit got crammed into that bill that some of these representatives looked at and said, well, I don't want that to pass. And so to pass the SAVE Act, to require ID for voting, you also need to pass all this other shit that makes no fucking sense, is going to benefit very specific people, that is not the American people. That is, like, the SAVE Act is just one example. We've heard about a shit ton of bills over the last, that have been high profile over the last, 4 years, where it's like, the core of the bill is something like, okay, yeah, that they want this to pass. And there was one in specific, I don't recall the name of the bill itself, but the Republicans voted nay against it, and it killed the bill. And the core of the bill was something that would have actually benefited people, and all the Republicans voted no about it. Well, when it came out, then the Republicans were all saying that, yeah, there was a whole bunch of shit in this bill that had nothing to do with the core of the bill that we weren't going to vote on. Because there was a whole shit ton of pork that was talking about stuff that had nothing to do with what the purpose of this bill was. And if we passed this bill, we'd have to pass all this other gobbledygook bullshit that people crammed into it. And, you're not gonna, they didn't want to just blanket pass everything because some of the shit that they didn't think would be beneficial to the American people. That's something to keep in mind. So all of these bills that don't pass, and it's like, oh, so-and-so didn't vote for this bill. So-and-so from your party didn't vote for this bill, brigade him. Just remember that in it, you only hear about the headline of the bill. You don't hear about the mountain of pork that got crammed into it that has nothing to do with it, that could actually be harmful to the American public. And you have representatives and senators that go, no, I don't want this part of it to get passed. And it's literally an all or nothing game when it comes to this shit. So that's something to keep in mind before you start going to brigade your representative for not voting on a bill that you like. Ask or look into what else got put in here that has nothing to do with the thing that I wanted. And you're going to see that, oh, there's this shit that's basically saying we need to do a study, a bill about basically Medicaid, and included in the bill is we need to do a study of the environmental impact of the African tree frog in fucking Timbuktu. So that's something to bear in mind before you start before you start raging at your representative for voting nay in a bill, is look at what was actually in there in total in the first place. 99% of the time, you're going to see, oh, there was all this shit in here that I don't want to have happen, in addition to the main thing that I did want to have happen. And so if we voted for it, it would have been everything, and a whole lot of stuff that I didn't want to have happen was going to happen. So just keep that in mind for the future.
Yeah, I just think this is why I really think YouTube and independent people like you who can talk about this on YouTube and it can reach the average American, what Nick Shirley is doing. That's why it is so critical. I do think that YouTube is a Gutenberg revolution that we don't even fully understand the consequences of yet, because the only solution, if it's not going to be a change, the only solution is transparency.
That's the difference between this and what Nick's doing, is like, there's profit in this for you, and you're not breaking any laws, you're not doing anything corrupt, you're not doing anything unethical. Congress is placing these trades. You're duly elected members of Congress who are you're
that's true. You're right about that. That YouTube doesn't support. Like, let me dial it back to what Warren was saying.
I really think YouTube and independent people like you who can talk about this on YouTube and it can reach the average American, what Nick Shirley is doing. That's why it is so critical. I do think that YouTube is a Gutenberg revolution that we don't even.
It's okay. We need to parse this out a little bit. He's referring to the independent journalists on YouTube that are using YouTube as a means for their independent journalism. Whereas, because obviously they would not be taken, they would not be a part of the mainstream media, which does nothing but lie to you these days. So he's referencing that because these independent journalists have a mainstream platform that they can post their journalism to and basically let their stories go out, it's a good thing. Yes, YouTube does suppress these journalists on the platform. And in that respect, I will say it's actual duality. Not duality, but there's another factor involved that Warren isn't talking about, which is like YouTube is good, but YouTube is one part of how all of this journalism gets out there. YouTube is part one, streamers is part two. Because I said this from the very beginning. The reason why Nick Shirley's journalism about the fraud in Minnesota, the reason why it blew up and got everyone's attention, people like to say it was Elon Musk tweeting about it. No, I disagree. Elon Musk was a little bit of a factor. Big streamers like Asmongold, like Kirsche, like Nux. Oh God, I had another one. Just went out of my head. Oh, Leaflet. Leaflet's another one. Big streamers that pick up that basically see these and they talk about it on their stream. Alana, Rev, I don't know if Powder talks about it all that much. Full disclosure, I don't follow Powder's content all that much, so I don't know what she talks about. But yeah, it's like Charlie, like all these streamers and other content creators boost it. So YouTube is a good platform. YouTube is a part one of the reason why this information gets out in such a big way. Streamers are a part two. They 100% are a part two because they have big fucking voices. Especially like Asmil, Kirsche, Knox, Charlie, Leaflet. They've got some big fucking voices that can reach hundreds of thousands, millions of people. Where Nick's video alone would not have reached it. If none of the big streamers had watched Nick's video and boosted it, Nick's video probably would have had maybe a couple thousand. Maybe a couple thousand. But because these big streamers talked about it on the stream and then posted their own YouTube videos about it, that boosted the signal and got the message out to tens and hundreds of millions. So YouTube is good, but these days, especially because YouTube loves to do suppression tactics, YouTube is part one, streamers are part two. It is basically a symbiotic relationship that basically facilitates independent journalism getting out there so people are informed.
Fully understand the consequences of yet, because the only solution, if it's not going to be a change, the only solution is transparency.
That's the difference between this and what Nick's doing is like, there's profit in this for you, and you're not breaking any laws, you're not doing anything corrupt, you're not doing anything unethical. Congress is placing these trades. You're duly elected members of Congress who you're paying their salary are placing these trades. I think at a minimum, the least they could do is let you follow along. It's not corrupt to follow what Pelosi's buying or what some member of the House or Congress is buying. So yeah, absolutely. They're not going to change. It's not going to end. The least you could do is follow along. And I promise you, this will not bother you nearly as much if you just made 10 or 20 grand riding alongside them. So I encourage people to come to the event. It is totally free. It is this Thursday, June 18th, 3 o'clock Eastern. I'll show you how everything works. I'll show you the online database where all these congressional trades are. I'll show you where the insider trades are. I'll show you what to look for. It's not that difficult. We're just looking for the really obvious stuff. When members of Congress that never buy stocks are piling into this one little random defense contractor, or the CEO and the CFO and a board haven't bought the stock in 3 years, and now they're piling in millions of dollars right before a drug trial is going to get released. It's generally really obvious. People just don't know it's available to them. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And I think it's extremely valuable and extremely eye-opening as well.
Cool. Yeah, we've got the link below in the description. You can click it, get registered, or you can use the QR code. Take advantage of this opportunity while it is still free. So thank you, Ross, for joining. This is super valuable. Thanks for laying this out.
Yeah. We need to do more, Warren, because I really love some of his stuff. I've watched Warren's stuff like when I'm working. I love like the way he breaks things down, where he just breaks it down very concisely of how people are trying to obfuscate where people are going wrong, how they're basically trying to conflate their arguments. We definitely need to watch more of his stuff. I'm gonna have to stop watching it at work so I can save it for stream.